Hello everyone, and welcome to Club Deck Corner here on Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. 3 points in Dingwall and D-Day with the Dutch Beckons. I am Scott Carney, and joining me again for the second pod in a row is Ali Pearson. How's it going, mate?
Not too bad. It's just us two all the time now, isn't it, Carl? Where's the rest of them?
The Ali and Scott show. I don't know if I should promote
Yeah.
you to the A team now, mate. I'm not 100% sure.
Nah, not yet. I'm still in that B team. I'm like an Alex Lowry. I'm out on loan slightly, trying to get into the A team. So
Yeah, you're trying to break in. You're trying to break into the A team, mate. Yeah, no. Ryan's otherwise occupied, and Scotia is Scotia's still working. So, unfortunately, you need to deal with our two dulcet tones for this evening as we look ahead to a rather massive game that will be tomorrow night. Before we get into it, to support the podcast to reach the next level, you can join the channel for as little as 99p a month. You can also buy the podcast a coffee. Enjoy the Coffee Buying Legend membership via buymeacoffee.com. All the links are in the description for this podcast. Thank you to all the new members that we got after Friday night's pod. We took a rare wee jump. So thank you so much for the support, everybody. You really are helping us take this to the next level. There is things are coming with this podcast. I know we keep saying it, but we all do have busy lives, and it's trying to find the time to fit it all in. But trust me, things are in motion. Things are in motion, so thank you so much for the support. Right, Ali, we'll start with the 2-0 win over Ross County at the weekend. Obviously, I know me and you did the reaction, mate, so we'll try not and paint the wall again, basically. Beale made 3 changes to the first leg. That was to the starting 11 from the first leg against PSV. Lundstrom, Lammers, Roof came back into the team, with Roof making his first start since April 2022. A bonkers start. We were talking about that in the pub. That's an absolutely, and it's a crazy start, that. First half goals from Roof, a wonderful solo effort by Tav, seeing Rangers get back down the road with 3 points. Ali, the first half was good, I thought, from Rangers. Second half, I think I was a wee bit overcritical. Again, a lot of people forget that we record immediately after full time. We don't really get to see reactions or rewatch things. It's pretty much straight away. And for people that don't know, I get very emotionally involved with Rangers, as a lot of us do. So I'm sorry, sometimes I am overcritical, but it's the way I feel, and I'll always stand by it. But that's possibly a wee bit harsh. I think the chance, mate, in the second half early on for Ross County kind of made me kind of blurred my vision of the rest of the half. They didn't really do very much after that. We were pretty much in control. They gave it a good try, but ultimately, mate, we kept a clean sheet for 3 points and we're down the road. But am I expecting too much, mate, to expect Rangers to, once we go 2-0 up halfway through the first half, to bury teams?
Nah, you're a Rangers fan. We're always looking for a wee bit more. Even if we beat Ross County 5, you're looking for 6. You know what it's like.
Yeah.
I agree. It's a bugbear of mine, but it's not just this Rangers team. It's going back to Gio team. It goes back to Gerrard teams. We don't go out and do a team. For me, I think if we got the third goal, we were looking for the early goal instead of one else asked for a killer game. The third goal early in the second half, and it was mainly to make changes for this game that we're going to talk about as well, PSV coming up. So, but overall in the second half, Jordan White had a decent chance where he probably should have scored. He scored quite a few goals against Rangers, Jordan White. But after that, they really didn't do much, Ross County. As soon as we got the second goal, Carney, the game was pretty much done, unless we had a brain fart at the back, which we usually do have. But there's a man in the back line in our goal that I think is helping our back line at the moment. So it cuts out these mistakes. But yeah, second half, we probably should have scored. We had a couple of good chances. Matondo was unlucky. One fizzed across the line as well. Seema with a header. So in another day, it probably would have been 3-0. But before that game, Carney, all I said was, give me 3 points. I don't care how it comes. And I got it. So I was happy enough.
Yeah, I'm the same, mate. I said this exactly the same thing on Friday night, just win Rangers, but when you see the game play out the way it did in front of you, you're always like, we could have done more there, I could have done more there. But that's the way I am. It's the way I make no apologies for it as a Rangers fan. I think we are we've got so much scar tissue of only been a goal up against teams, or 2-1, two goals up against a team, and then they do that inevitable brain fart, mate, that we always speak about will happen. All of a sudden it's a game that we didn't need to be involved in. So I'm always like, I'd like to kill it off. Beale even said himself after the game he would have liked a third goal before half time, because if you get the third goal before half time, the game is over. No matter what, they're not going to come back into it, even if they do score. And the white chance that you speak about, that was one where I went, see, this is why I want more goals, because if they score, it just becomes a whole different ball game. But ultimately, that doesn't matter because we did control the majority of the game, and I thought Rangers were thoroughly deserving of the 3 points, and the changes were made. The rotation did happen, and I think that's the most beautiful thing about it. More beautiful than that, mate, is we got a Brucey bonus further later on in the day. I didn't see that coming, mate, and I know it's not. I'm not a Celtic podcast. I do get that, but obviously we're going into a pretty two big games coming up, mate. I didn't see them dropping points, mate, but it doesn't have changed the complexion of things with these two games coming up.
Yeah, our post match, we briefly mentioned them playing St Johnstone,
We
and I
both,
said I expect them to beat St Johnstone, and I did expect them to beat St Johnstone.
yeah,
I don't think there's many Rangers fans that expect them to drop points, including Celtic fans as well, probably. But yeah, them dropping on Saturday. I mean, I seen that. I was in the pub and 8 minutes added time come in, and you're as a Rangers fan, they're one of the 8 teams, along with I would say Man United, who score always in the last minute. So you're always
Fergie time,
expecting
yeah.
it. You're always expecting it, and it didn't come. And to me, it's handed the momentum. I know we have the old firm. We'll talk about that later in the week, but it's handed the momentum back to Rangers. Can you think where we were against Kilmarnock would get beat against Kilmarnock? It was doom and gloom at that point, and
Mm-hmm.
a few games on in the league, and look where we are now. It's there for us on Sunday to go top of the league by 2 points. It's there. The team talk for me is done. It's there. But yeah, that was a Brucey bonus because I did not see that coming at all.
No, I didn't either. I really didn't either. And I know, look, we're not going to win the league on Sunday if we win the game, and
No.
vice versa if we don't win, we don't lose the league. But it changes the complexion of it altogether for me. As I say, when I seen it, and I was like, "Whoa, right, okay." The opportunity has now presented itself, and yeah, it's up to us to go and take advantage of it. But that will all come later in the week, and we'll discuss that in more detail. Before we move on for the county game, mate, just want to bring up a couple of players really. Kamar Roof. He doesn't have to make a difference when he's there, mate. We've banged on about it, and it's me and you especially about the guy's quality. See, when he's fit and he's in form, he's probably the best striker that we have at the club. Genuinely, his injury proneness is the thing that's held him back in his career. I genuinely believe that. His movement and his link up play, mate. If we can keep him fit, mate, he'll be a vital asset for this squad for the rest of this season.
Yeah, he's fit. I know.
If we can keep him fit.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
He's probably the best striker in Scotland, if you want to say natural striker. He's in areas where other players in our team I don't think would be, and he's got a knack for it for me. The thing about Kamara, I mean, you talk about him there, his last time he started for Rangers was April 22, was it you?
22.
Which is mental when you think about that. But every time Kamara Roof comes out the cold, if you want to say, from being out for ages, never looks like he's been out the cold for ages,
Mm-hmm.
Kamara. If he just slots back in. So he's probably used to it during his career, because his career has been stop-start, even at Leeds and everywhere else he's been. It's always been like that, so he's probably used to it. But I said before he played Carney, I was like, he'll score. He'll score the first goal, and I was looking, he was 92. I wish I'd put it on now and I looked at it, but he's a clever player. Even the ball that he put to Dessers before he scored,
Yeah.
things like that. He's a very clever player, and I think we said ages ago during pre-season when we were all having a laugh about Kamara, that he was on his Instagram and he was coming back. And I think we all kind of agreed that even if we get 20 games out Kamara this season, he'll be an asset for Rangers this season, and he'll contribute to Rangers like he did when we won the league a few years ago. So it's managing Kamara. I don't expect Kamara to play every game for Rangers, but I think Beale will play him in certain games, and I think he'll contribute to this Rangers team.
Yeah, and see, if you get 20 games out of him, I expect 12 to 15 goals, mate. And I'm not saying I expect it, but the player that he is and his movement in the box, his alertness, the way that he is as a player, as a striker, the intelligence that he has, I expect him to score goals. He is a goal. The guy is a guaranteed goal. So yeah, I expect big things from him, and wrap him up in bubble wrap as the things were flying around Twitter, because I think he could be pretty crucial on Sunday. But again, all of that to come. It's hard not to think about the old firm as well. But it's a big week for us. James Tavernier's goal, mate. Ridiculous. The more I see it is ridiculous. I thought Tav was much more like it on Saturday.
Yeah, he's been criticised. We said it in the post match. He's been criticised, and he hasn't been great this season.
No.
But yeah, when he wins the ball back when he drives, and we had a lot of players up the park that kind of opened the space up for Tav when he was driving into the middle of the park. And this isn't even a dead ball situation. He's running with a ball, and to get that up and down against that Laidlaw on goal, who is, I don't know, 6'5", 6'6", a big goalkeeper, Laidlaw, absolutely nowhere near it. I said it's contender for goal of the season already, and I think it's outstanding. And I think you said he was the only guy in that Rangers team that would probably come up with something like that, and I agree with that. I don't think there's not a guy in the Rangers team that could do what he did on Saturday, but it was a big goal at a big time because we had the momentum, and when he did that, to me the game is pretty much done at that point. But fantastic goal, and that'll give him I think he needs a boost to have, but he has been slagged. He knows, he's on social media, he's not stupid, he knows, but I think it was a wee reminder to a lot of fans that maybe constantly slag him that he's a big player for Rangers. And I think we've seen it with Sterling when he played against Morton, that he's a different player altogether. And the way we play, Tav is critical, and maybe a lot of fans don't want to hear it, but he is critical to the way we play until we maybe bring a right back similar to Tav moving forward. But he's a big player for Rangers. He scores big goals.
Yeah, absolutely no doubt, mate. I agree. As I say, I've been I've said before that I've always been a fan of Tav, but this season in particular, during pre-season and at the start of this season, I've not been impressed. But Saturday was much more like it, and he is our right back. He is our captain. Whether people like it or hate it, it's chalk or cheese with Tav with a lot of people, and you're just going to have to accept it. I think that nobody in the current squad can do what he does attackingly. I get defensive, he has his frailties. We've said a million times, if he was as good a defender as he is at scoring goals like he is on Saturday, he wouldn't be at Rangers. He would never have been at Rangers. He'd have been somewhere else. Swings and roundabouts and all those things. Before we'll get into the preview of the PSV game, mate, just a quick roundup of a bit of Rangers news, mostly transfers, in fact all transfers. The club confirmed Yanis Hadji had moved to La Liga side Alaves on a season-long loan deal. A statement on the website said Hadji has joined today. Had today joined La Liga side Alaves on a loan deal running to the end of the current season. The Romanian international 24 initially joined Rangers on a loan deal in January 2020 before making the deal permanent that summer. He's made 99 appearances in light blue to date. That's quite a lot. That's more than I thought. When I read that, I was like, that's quite a lot. Yeah. Anyway, I digress. And has netted 16 goals, contributing an enormous amount to the club, both on and off the pitch, with a role in the club's European performances in the last few years, also the delivery of the league title in 2021. Everyone at Rangers wishes Yanis well for his loan spell, which provides him with a fantastic opportunity for regular football, having spent most of the almost a year out through injury. Reports suggest, mate, that there's no loan-to-buy option included in this deal. Your thoughts on this? Before you do, I'll probably give my bit. I see it hard for Hadji to come back to Rangers now. I'm not going to lie. I feel like when these things happen, it tends to be towards the end of the road. Hadji has a fair amount of a contract left. He's contracted to the club till 2026. This move for me right now, if he's not in Bill's plan, makes sense. I want him to go out there and be fantastic and come back and be fantastic for us. But sometimes, mate, well, most of the time, mate, I don't really think they kind of things work out. But what's your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, I knew he would leave. Going out alone, I would imagine Rangers will probably get some sort of money up front in terms of a loan fee, probably. I don't know what that is, but I'd assume they've maybe got something. I would assume they're covering all his wages, probably. I'd like to think so. Going out there.
I'd like to think so, yeah.
To me, it's a no-brainer for Rangers. Like you say, Carney's got 3 years left in his deal. When his loan deal ends, he still has 2 years left. He's an asset to Rangers. For me, they're putting him in a short window for a year. If he
Yeah.
goes out there and rips it up, other teams will look at him and potentially come in for him. I agree. Yeah, it would be a great story if he went out there, ripped it up, came back to us, and was a great player for us. But I can't see it. You never really see it with these loan deals when they go away. It's different with a young player sometimes who's trying to break into a team. Then you send him out on loan, and then he comes back. But yeah, I just it's unfortunate for Hadji because that injury got really didn't ruin his career at Rangers, but it set him back big style because he was out for the best part of the year. Last season, he looked like a player that hadn't kicked a ball can. When we've seen him this season, I thought he looked a lot better. He looked pre-season under his belt. But it's just these things happen in football, unfortunately. And good luck to Hadji, but I can't. Sorry, Scotia, but I can't see him coming back to Rangers next season.
No, I think as I say, when this thing, with the way it looks anyway, from kind of just looking at the initial deal itself, from going on loan to where he's going on loan to, and I think it's a good move for him. I think it's a good club for him. I think he'll probably do pretty well there. I would love for him to come back and we get a storming year out of him before they let me into the last year of his contract and we still get decent money for him back. But I tend to agree with you, mate. I think this is Rangers thinking, I'm going to put you in the shop window here, and hopefully by the time we get to next summer, hopefully the club that you're at comes in and makes an offer. But there's going to be others sniffing around you at the same time. And no harm on Yanis Hadji. I think he's a top bloke. His Instagram message to the fans was brilliant. I thought that was very nice of him to do. He didn't have to do that. But even his wording in that, I was like, I think he knows that that's probably the end of the road for him at Ibrox. I wish him nothing but the best. I hope he has a great season out there. But it's one that I think will split fans a wee bit as well, because I think a lot of people see him as a better alternative to probably Lammers just now, because Lammers is struggling slightly. But I think it makes sense for both parties, because I'm not sure Bale's his biggest fan, and I don't know if that's just the way football happens sometimes. Sometimes a manager fancies you, sometimes he doesn't, and I don't think Bale really sees a place for him. I do think his comments that he made after the Morton game, that it was, I think that kind of was, the writing was on the wall at that point. We all kind of knew he's going to be moving on. He's going to be moving on. But yeah, we wish him nothing but the best. Kamara finally on his way out to Leeds, mate. Leeds have put in a concrete bid. This is the longest transfer since Cifuentes, mate.
Kamara. When does the window slam shut? Is it Friday night? Midnight
Friday
or something,
night,
11 o'clock or something, yeah. I know this one's dragged on for a good few months now, Carney. Kamara's not been seen at Rangers at all. Yeah, it's a good. We've spoken about Kamara for donkeys and this about going to Leeds and stuff, so there's not much more to say, but I think it's a good move for him. I think he'll fit well in that Leeds team. They're looking for promotion back to the Premier League, so I think it's decent. I think the money Rangers reportedly are getting, if it is 5.5 or 3.5, or Leeds are saying anywhere in between that, for me, is good business for Rangers. Because if you look at the money we've brought in to the money we've spent, it's pretty much nearly levelled itself out, Carney. So it's been a good window for Rangers in terms of business. So, Kamara doesn't want to be here, so he needs to be moved on. And I think it's a decent bit of business for us.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I think everything about the deal makes sense. It's just took a lifetime. Like, it feels like it's been happening for years, mate. But no, look, we've again, don't want to just keep over the same thing. We've also had our say on Kamara. I think he's a quality player, I do. I just don't think his heart's in it here anymore, and it's not been for some time. And after that happens, fans lose faith in you. It all snowballs into effect, and you'll finally leave the club. But yeah, that one definitely looks like it is going to happen. It's not been confirmed. I heard on Heart and Hand, David Edgar had said that it has already been agreed with the player. I know that's kind of unheard of considering no bid was made, but it's the way the world works, the way the world of football works. So I think Kamara's keen on it, the club are keen on it, so I expect that one to happen before the window slams shut. You have to say, every time you say that, you have to say slam shut like that. Another outgoing, it looks like Leon King looks like he'll be set to go out on loan, mate, for the rest of the season, as we're looking to trim the playing squad. Teams in England and Europe interested, apparently. Your thoughts on this one, mate? This one I found slightly strange because he does fit Scotia's quota of Scottish people that fits in the European squad, etc. So I was a wee bit raising an eyebrow at it, but I think it'd be a good thing for his development, mate. And the only thing that I hope for is it's not the usual thing that we see when we send a young defender out on loan or a young player out on loan that they come back and there's no space for them. But yeah, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I thought weeks ago I thought he was maybe going to stay because the injury wasn't as bad as it was. Now, yeah, you mean you look at the centre halves we've got and Suter, Goldson, Balogun, Davies is still there. I know we'd look to try and move him on if we could. Do we bring another centre back in? I don't know. So, it makes sense. We send young Lowry out to Hearts, who is doing well at Hearts. He's getting game time at Hearts. So he's probably looked at that King. Does he want to be Rangers? He's the last choice if you want to send centre. Balogun's ahead of him. So he is. So does he want to just sit on the bench at Rangers all season, get the odd maybe Scottish Cup game, whatever? So he's not going to play minutes for Rangers. So, or does he go out on loan and try and prove himself there, maybe come back? So I think it's the correct decision to put him out on loan and see what happens. So you never know. He might come back after a year away, wherever he goes, and comes in at the Rangers team. But at this present point, he's way down the pecking order. So yeah, it makes sense for the boy to go out on loan.
Yeah. It probably does, mate. It probably does make sense for him to go out on loan. But when I see things like this happening, it tends to mean I'll probably never see them playing for Rangers again, and I think that'd be a real shame. I don't think King's the best defender I've ever seen. I think there's still development for him to go through. I've got no doubt about it. He's still a young lad, but I'm always just a wee bit dubious about it when we send a player out on loan in that position, especially when we are linked, mate, with a centre half, and that centre half's another shooter, mate. He's probably the main talking point of a player coming in, mate. It would be a loan deal for Harry Shooter. Now, what do you make of this signing, mate? Does it tell you kind of everything you need to know about Beale's plans with Ben Davies? Because I think it's pretty clear if Shooter comes in, he's going to be playing ahead of Davis. I still think the centre half pairing is Connor Goldson and John Shooter, but with Harry Shooter coming in, I think it knocks him further down the pecking order again. Davis, I mean,
yeah, I don't think Beale fancies Davis, to be honest.
Nah.
A lot of the Rangers fans don't fancy him. He's a bit soft for me as a centre half, Davies. Not much conviction in him. At times, I think he looks tidy in the ball, Carney, but other times I'm wary. I think centre halves can bully him at times. Suter coming in, he's right-footed. He's not a left-sided centre half. Suter, he's not left-footed or anything. So I think would you play three at the back with him potentially? I don't know. I don't think he'd be coming here, Carney, to sit on the bench. Because if you look at him, he was at Stoke. He was at the World Cup with Australia, where he had a stormer, and that's where Leicester picked him up, paid decent money for him, went down there. I think he started because your career not bad at Leicester, and I don't know what's going to happen to him. He's fallen away, but 6'6", he's a massive defence. He's bigger than John Suter. He's massive. You've seen him obviously in the Rangers top out in Seville. He's a Rangers fan, so yeah, he'd be a good addition to the back line for me. Where he fits in, I don't know. Like I say, the three at the back, do we do that? I don't know. But to have another two brothers at Ibrox probably since the McCrory brothers is probably the last two, I think. It would be a good question to name every brothers that have played for Rangers. But yeah, that would I would take him. You'd be in big bucks at Leicester. You'd be in big bucks, so they'd have to subsidise his wages. But yeah, if we can get him up here on a loan deal and pay a bit of his wages, it's a no-brainer for me because I think he's a good player.
Yeah, the club are interested. There's definite interest there from the club. But yeah, I'm the same. I do think, well, who doesn't play it then? And maybe it is the whole three at the back. Look, he's not taking Connor Goldson's place, and whether you agree or disagree, my opinion is that he doesn't take John Shooter's place either, because I think he's been great. Okay, he's had his mistakes, but again, even on Saturday there, he was solid, man. Shooter was absolutely solid, no issues with him whatsoever. He He's reading of the games very well. His interceptions are critical. He wins pretty much every aerial battle that he goes into. So yeah, I'm a fan of his. So, but it's an interesting one. It definitely is an interesting one. But I agree. I don't think he'll be coming here to sit on the bench. But maybe that's the point. Maybe he's coming here to push them two on a wee bit. Goldson and Shooter. We'll need to wait and see with that one. But there is interest. But we'll see if anything happens before the window. I'm not going to say it before the window closes on Friday. So we'll move on to the preview of the PSV Eindhoven game, mate. Games don't really come much bigger at this point in the season against Eindhoven. The pressure was just before we came on air there and recorded, mate. Dowell, the only one that's out. No big issue with it, but the game's just a wee bit too soon for him. Bale said the team selection is not far from last week. We need to be better with the ball, need to be strong defensively and take opportunities when they come our way. The next two games are huge for the club. If players can't rise to that or thrive on it, then they probably don't deserve to be here. Amen, Mr. Beale. Amen. I'm very much a fan of statements like that. In terms of tomorrow night, mate, in fact, I'll quickly mention what Todd Cantwell said. He said, we're looking forward to tomorrow night. Every game at Rangers is a big game and we shouldn't take it for granted. And as a player, it's your responsibility to show that. We're not thinking of last year. It's all about who wins tomorrow night. So, yes, your thoughts on the game tomorrow night, mate. Before we actually get to the actual game, PSV don't have to talk, mate. A lot. They talk a big game, mate. They talk a big game for a team that they're playing that they've no beat over the last three ties. So yeah, but they're talking a big game. Obviously, there was stuff come out today about what's his chops, Van der Vaart had said that he doesn't like Rangers the way we play, etc. And then I think it was Ruud Gullit that was backing us up, pretty much backing us up, and saying if Rangers were that poor, you would have beat them in the first leg. So yeah, this one, mate, obviously I seen Stevie Clifford as well. He'd said on, I think it was the Rangers Review this morning, that he's a wee bit peeved at the disrespect that they're showing us. For me, mate, I get that. I get the whole disrespect thing, but they're only trying to play, they're trying to play hardball with their words, basically. For Rangers, just frustrate the life out of them and we'll see what happens is kind of my approach to this.
Yeah, I love when these teams come out and slag us off and they're going to beat
Makes
us
it better if we do win, doesn't it?
That's the team talk done. Beale doesn't need to do a team talk before that game tomorrow night because these guys come out and we're one of these bogey teams for PSV, I think, at the moment because they struggle to beat us. They obviously don't respect us, I don't think. They don't. No. They think we are a bit of not a diddy team, but I think they should show up and beat us convincingly. And I mean, they have spent a lot of money, PSV. They've spent a lot more money than we have, especially in their front line. They are a good team, PSV. But yeah, the team talk's done for me, Carney. Just play that, put it all up on the wall. If it's the Peters, whatever it is, it's done for me. Yeah, it's a weird one tomorrow night because when we played PSV over there last season, I thought we rode our luck at times. I think John McLaughlin was very good in goals, which is bizarre saying that now. Yep. That's what John McLaughlin is now. But then you look back at the chances we had over there. Tom Lawrence smacked the bar. Lundstrom, unlucky. We had a couple of chances. We're going to have to ride our luck tomorrow night, Carney. They're going to have most of the ball tomorrow. But as you say, if we can frustrate them, we've got players to bring on to hurt them in the second half. I can see Beale's. I can see him going there to, as you say, Carney, frustrate and try and nick a goal tomorrow. I can't see us going gun-ho against them. But it's an interesting tie because, I'd say they are a better team than us technically and where they are at the moment compared to we are at the moment. But we're a couple of games in, I think we'll be better than what we were at Ibrox against them. But I've said it for a while, away from home suits Rangers. I really think it suits us playing over there. I think there's less pressure on us. And yeah, it's there for Rangers tomorrow night, Carney. If we don't do it, we don't do it. We've got the backup of Europa League, which is a decent backup, if you want to say, and we'll be in pot A, whatever it is. So, but you want to be in Champions League, you want to be at the top table.
Yeah.
I want Rangers to go through tomorrow night, but it's there for Rangers tomorrow. It's a one-off game, Carney. Last week doesn't matter anymore. The away goals don't count. So all Rangers, it's as easy as it's not easy for me saying this, but all Rangers have to do is win tomorrow night and they're through, which is easier said than done.
What?
But
Really?
that's it. That's all they need to do. I mean, that's
Yeah.
as simple as that. They need to win the game. So, aye, it's there for Rangers tomorrow night. But all this bump their gums in the press, PSV, keep it coming because I love stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm very much the same, mate. As I say, I wouldn't go so far to think that I find it disrespectful. I don't think they respect us. I think they see us as non-football, and I do believe they think they just need to show up and win tomorrow night. And again, that all feeds into us, as far as I'm concerned. That all feeds into our hands. That's a benefit to us, I think, because not only are they piling the pressure on their own team, they're relieving the pressure even more off us. And Beale's tried to relieve the pressure off the players. He said, "Oh, we've got." He's met how many times has he mentioned the Europa League group stages? He's mentioned it plenty of times. So everything that they're doing, I'm like, all you're doing is adding more pressure to PSV. That the PSV fans will not accept this tomorrow night if they don't go through. I think it's 5 years. I think it was 5 years since they've been in the Champions League. I think that's what it is. And if we're the ones to stop them again, how I will rejoice, mate. I'll be particularly pleased. But yeah, all this, they're a good squad. They're a good team. I don't think they're going to be much better than what we've seen on Wednesday night, like Tuesday night last week. Tuesday night last week.
Yeah.
I don't think they're not going to be a completely different team. They're not going to be better at moving the ball or anything like that, but they do have obviously the home advantage. And yeah, I believe that we will need to ride our luck. Maybe not ride our luck, just stick with them, be in their faces, don't let them have plenty of time on the ball. And I do believe that Beale will tweak things slightly. They are number 6 for them. Just stop him playing football. Really, just try and eliminate him getting the ball as much as he can, because he pretty much makes them tick. And I think you're right, mate. Last week absolutely counts for nothing, and this week all they've done to me, it looks like, is play into our hands. And yeah, if they want to disrespect us, then by all means, go ahead, because it will make it even sweeter for us if we manage to do it. I'm trying not to think about the possibility of us not winning and going into the Europa League, because I'm a Rangers fan, mate. We've been through all this. I like to win at absolutely everything, but it is something that you can have there and going, yeah, okay, we can go play in the Europa League, and it's a not bad second place, if you like, a second prize, if you like. But I believe the players will be giving it everything tomorrow night. I really do. And I also think if we win tomorrow night, it doesn't half give us a real boost of enthusiasm, momentum. I think it will do Beale the world of wonders. I think it will do the squad a world of wonders, and I would a touch and wood at the same time. I would fancy us going into the weekend. I really would fancy us, because I think we'll be on an absolute high. As well, you've got to remember that they'll be coming off they have no game to play this week. They're coming off their low, and it's going to be against us, against a pretty ferocious Ibrox, I would expect, after the way we hope tomorrow night goes. So very much looking forward to it, mate. I'm very much looking forward to it. In terms of how you think Beale's going to approach the game, mate, tactics wise, before we come on to teams, there's been kind of word on Twitter, people floating different ideas of different formations. 3-4-3 has been one that I've seen. Do you think he will go there to fully contain? Obviously, he's dropped a wee hint with the selection. His team selection's maybe not going to be much different from what it was last week, so I wouldn't expect any drastic changes. But do you expect us to try and contain, basically, and do our best to catch them on the break, or do you think we'll try and play them at their own game?
It's difficult. I think you'll try to contain them to a point. We've got players with pace to try and hit them in the break. We need ball carriers as well to get us up the park at times. We need to be better on the ball against them this time. I thought first leg against them, we struggled to get control of the ball.
First half in particular.
Yeah, first half, because they were knocking the ball about lovely, let's be honest about it. But we need to get control of the ball. We need somebody to put the foot in the ball at times and calm it down. I think actually Beale alluded to it. We were talking about Steve Davis, and when he was the perfect guy if he was ever fit, and he was obviously contracted to Rangers. I know he kind of is, but he would have been the perfect guy to bring on in the first leg, just to put the foot in the ball and calm it all down. And I think that's what we need tomorrow night. I think we need 8s and 9s across the board. All of them need to stand up.
Yep.
But the middle of the park for me, Carney, is key. We need to control the middle of the park and knock the ball about. We can't be a hot potato tomorrow night, because it'll just give them momentum. especially if it's wave after wave. So yeah, I think he'll contain them to a point. But we do have people in the depends who he plays, but we do have you've got obviously Matondo, you've got Sima, these guys that get pace, so we do have that to hurt them because they'll come at us tomorrow night. PSV, I fully expect for straight for the whistle, they'll come right at us. So we'll need to ride a storm for 10, 15 minutes, but after that, if we can gain control of the ball, frustrate them, frustrate the home fans, I think that's key. And we've got guys up front that I think can hurt them because we will get chances tomorrow night. But the key thing for me is we need to put them in the back of the net. We need to be clinical tomorrow night because we're not going to get many, I can't see. And that's the only thing I'd say in Rangers this season so far. We haven't been clinical. Certain strikers, we need to be clinical tomorrow night. But we've got the players to hurt them, definitely.
Yeah, I think in terms of your control, I'm not sure we'll get enough control of the ball per se to control
it's filling holes and stuff and everything.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, I knew what you meant. Clever way of pressing, mate. Clever way of covering enough space. Clever way with tracking players, etc. We're going to need to be switched on, really switched on. They will get chances. I think Butland's probably in for a few wonder saves. I'm hoping because they will definitely get chances because they are a decent outfit. But I agree with you, mate. We will get a chance. The chance will come our way. Whether Beale approaches it of let's stay in the tie in the first half in terms of just not conceding and then get to the second half and see how the fans are reacting after that. But I think it's very much, I wouldn't say it's Livingston or whoever coming, if St Johnstone coming to Ibrox, where they will sit at a back 10. I don't see Rangers doing something like that to try and frustrate the home crowd. But if we stay in the game for the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and they're struggling to really get anything going, that crowd will get on their back. There's no doubt about that. They'll get on their back. They're a feisty crowd. So they definitely will, they will show their disappreciation of what they're seeing. So I think that'll be key. I do think that'll be key. But I agree, mate. I think we're in for a night, mate. We are in for a night. But again, it's what it's all about, mate. If you want to play at this, this top level, then it's the games that you have to go through. It's the ties that you have to win. So I'm still very much looking forward to it. Right, mate. Your team. Who do you think we will start with tomorrow night? And is there any tweak in your formation, or is it just what we've kind of been seeing? I don't think our team will be the same. I think my team might shock you a wee bit, actually.
Oh, maybe that means you're putting Matondo in now. It gave us a wee bit of a clue in the presser there. Beale, they said he's not really going to change much at all. When he says change stuff, I think he might tinker formation slightly or whatever it is. But I think he'll go with the same team, can't he? I think he'll go with Butland, Tav, Goldson, Suter, Barisic, Raskin, Cifuentes, Jack, Cantwell, Sima, and Dessers. I think he'll go with that. And I think he'll wait. I think hopefully we're in the game with, say, half an hour to go and he brings on Matondo because they'll be going for it. And Matondo, for me, is a perfect guy to bring on with the pace he's got and the confidence he's in. I would love to start Matondo tomorrow night. I would. But I just think he sees him as a bit of an ace card to bring on tomorrow as a substitute to affect the game. So that's what I think he'll go with tomorrow. I know Sima's been an enigma, let's be honest about it. He was woeful against PSV, but he came up with a big goal out of nowhere.
Yeah, he did.
I just think he's one of the players, can't he? I mean, for all I know, he could play against PSV and have a belter of a game. I just think you don't know what you're going to get out of him. He is a Sakala type player. But yeah, I think he'll go with the same team tomorrow night.
Right. I've got him in two minds. So I think the same team's probably a shout. But I think he's going to play both contain and catch at the same time. This will shock people. The only reason I'm saying it, right, is because he was decent on Saturday, right?
Lundstrom.
So yes, so the same back five, and again I'll explain why I'm doing it. So the same back five, I think he'll play Lundstrom, Jack, and Raskin. I don't think he'll play Cifuentes. I think he'll bring him on, but I think he'll play Raskin slightly further forward. I think he might play Jack, Raskin, Lundstrom, and Cifuentes. There's a mixture of them basically that will play plain, but I wouldn't be surprised if Lundstrom starts. Cantwell, I really don't know between Dessers and Danilo because I think it might be about pace, and I think Danilo's faster than Dessers, but Dessers is very good at holding the ball up, and we might need that at times. He's going to need to work very hard. Danilo, that's not really Danilo's game, so I suspect Dessers to start, and I think Matondo will play, and I think that's based on trying to contain as well as when we get a chance, we're going to need to go at pace. When we catch teams on the break and everything clicks, we're very, very good at it. So yeah, I'm going to start Rabi. I'm going to start Matondo because, look, as good as Sima goal was last week, the first half performance for him was diabolical. He was so bad. He was awful. He really was truly awful. But the goal kind of all made up for it, I suppose. Not taking anything away from him from that. And also he's the artwork for this week's pod. But anyway, yeah, so that I'll go with that team. And also Beale mentioned on Saturday it was good when we dropped our back three and John dropped in, and I was like, I just kind of there was a wee there. Hang on, maybe that's what he's planning on doing. In that case, if it is his plan, he may well play Cifuentes and Raskin because I think they're kind of better going forward. But I think he'll trust Jack and Lundstrom, and I think the toss-ups between Raskin and Cifuentes for that. He can't drop Raskin, no, that's the thing. It's a difficult team, mate. It's a difficult team to try and predict. But there's a team in there. I think I said a team. There's a team, so I'm just saying as many as I can so I can try and claim that I was right. But I wouldn't be shocked to see Lundstrom come back in. This is a game that he could put the foot on the ball. He could slow it down. He could regain control, composure for us. The stuff that we frustratingly see from him when we are playing at home against Livingston, for example, or whoever it may be, where we want the ball to be sped up. But I think it's interesting. It probably will be the same team as last week. It probably will be. But I would like to see a bit of both happening from middle to front. Can contain, but also can go. And I think if Lundstrom's there, he can drop into the three, and it frees up Tav Barisic to get forward when they need to as well. So, but we'll see. It'll be an interesting one to see. Give me a score prediction, mate.
I think they will score. I know they didn't score last time we went over there, but I think they'll score. One each after 90 minutes.
Oh, God.
So strap yourself in. It's going to go extra time. Like I say, Matondo will be on the last half hour. And in extra time, Matondo's going to go on an amazing run. And then Danilo's going to score to make it 2-1 Rangers.
2-1.
After
we can all sing Danilo. I'll go 2-1 in 90 minutes to Rangers. I think they'll score as well. I do think they'll score. I'm pretty sure they will. So I'll go. They'll go a goal up, and we'll bring it back. We'll equalise, and we'll score in the second half. My first goal scorer, in fact, the winning goal scorer, will be Todd Cantwell because it's made for him, innit? It's really made for him. So I'll say Cantwell to score the winner. But look, anything could happen tomorrow night, generally. But I think it's very much a tie that we can get in amongst them, and we can frustrate them at times. And I think we're in with a fair shout of progressing into the group stages. By no means is it going to be an easy task tomorrow night, but I've got faith in this Rangers team, and I think we like these European nights, and I do believe the PSV and their cheerleaders have only just added pressure to themselves and relieved a wee bit of pressure from us, which might only be a good thing. So bring it on. I cannot wait. Alistair, for tonight, mate, thank you very much.
No problem. I look forward to tomorrow. Like you, I'm optimistic going into the game. It's not one of these games I'm going to where you're kind of shiting yourself, going, Christ, hide behind the couch for 90 minutes and see what happens. But no, if Rangers go with the right attitude, it's there for Rangers tomorrow. Like you say, they've done the team talk for me tomorrow night. So, as always, as I say in this podcast, it is over to you, Rangers.
It is over to you, Rangers. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. If you could like the video, subscribe to the channel, that would be magic. Very much appreciated. We will be back with a reaction. Win or lose, we will be back with a reaction tomorrow night after the game. But I really hope you are seeing very happy faces tomorrow night after full time. Enjoy the game if you possibly can. Play up the famous Glasgow Rangers. We are Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. Cheers, everybody.